Chat. What's good, YouTube? We are back with another. Hold on, I'm gonna say, let me get that away and wash my clothes. We are back with another banger. Now you're probably wondering to yourself, why the hell this nigga just intro the video standing up? Because of that. All right. We are at 100. We are past the 150 mark on subscribers. Insane, my nigga. Insane. Now, this isn't even the current count. Let me fix it for y'all real quick. You can't even see it, but it's a 6. Now I know. I absolutely know. I've been gone for 9 days. But chat, I'm in a bit of a pickle. I'm in my growing phase on YouTube, right? And I make a lot of videos too, right? I'm in my growing phase of YouTube, and I'm at the stage where if I upload one video and then it goes for like 3 days, and I upload again, the video from 3 days ago doesn't get pushed out, and then this one's like getting pushed out more. You get what I'm saying? Like, if I upload too consistent, my videos don't get pushed out too much. Like every day, it don't get pushed out. And I notice whenever I take a little bit of time, it gets pushed. Like, well, nigga, we are at 570 views on the last video. We're going crazy. I hope this will do the same. Like, chat, just a month ago, we were less than 100. No, it's probably 2 months ago. We were less than 100. Then we got stuck. Now we're at 156, goddamn, subscribers. But I'm sorry, I've been yapping a lot. No, I'm yapping just a little bit. I know. But we're not scrolling on Instagram. We're not watching another horror film. Today, we are reacting to a compilation. Not compilation. A whole bunch of horror stories by the people. And maybe with some horror films in there. Now, I'm in the horror mood, if you can tell. I really react to every and anything. But it's not music no time soon. But let's get straight into this. Now, I know I said compilation, but this bitch 27 minutes. This is how you know my content is raw. Like, I don't plan it. I make the intro to my video. I go search what I just said I'm gonna react to, and I just scroll until I find what I want to see. But if you already, it's the first thing. This is what we're reacting to right here. 3 unsettling Home Alone horror stories animated. Why in the world, goddamn, would I not react to that? Shout out to the nigga MJ Animations. Let's get straight into this video.
It's September when I moved into the cabin. When the aspens turned gold and the air smelled like pine resin and cold earth, I finally found some respite. After 15 years amid constant noise in the city, the sirens, the hum of traffic, or neighbors, it was silence that I craved. This cabin was exactly what I needed. 12 miles from civilization.
That's the problem of this home, bro. Niggas is getting cabins and shit by themselves. Solo trips or solo vacations are not a recipe for disaster, but it definitely makes the chances of some bullshit happening way more. What's the word I'm looking for here, chat? Say it for me real quick. Way higher. Damn it, I don't know what the word. Frequent? I don't know, bro. I'm sorry.
With no visible neighbors. In the quiet of the sky and forest that could settle into your bones with the amount of peace it produced. My first few weeks went exactly as I had dreamed. I fell asleep to the wind nestling through the trees and woke to birdsong, lively chirping in the background. I also learned to identify all the sounds I heard around me, whether it was the rustle of a deer moving through the underbrush, the screech of a red-tailed hawk, or the crack of branches settling in the cold. I sat on the porch with my tea one night, just listening to absolutely nothing. Beautiful, to say the least. Then, the first disturbance. I came across it on a Thursday, mid-October.
Oh, shit.
It was around 2 a.m. when I woke up to the scraping sound, something near the back of the cabin. It wasn't loud, just persistent. Something dragging against the exterior wall. I lay there listening, trying to place it and figure out who it was. But after a few minutes of making the noise, it stopped. I reasoned it must have been a raccoon or some other animal, maybe
See?
a branch swinging in the wind.
This is what I really like. Every time somebody's going through like some horror shit, you immediately tell yourself the best case scenario. That is terrible fight or flight. If I'm hearing screeching or something in my goddamn room, my nigga, or whatever, I'm gonna assume somebody trying to break in my shit. In immediate defense mode, you in my crib, nigga, you ain't making it out. You feel me? Like, I'm in immediate defense mode.
I went back to sleep unharmed. But then it was there again 2 nights later. The same exact time, the same exact location. But this occurrence lasted longer. This occurrence may have been 5 minutes, and then it stopped abruptly. I got up, checking the back door, just to find it was locked, shining a flashlight through the window. But there was nothing except my own reflection in the darkness beyond. I walked the perimeter in the morning, but nothing. No marks, no fallen branches, no tracks near the wall at all. It was the 3rd week in October by the time it started happening.
Here
every
it goes,
few
Chad.
nights.
It's gonna happen.
It always happened between 1 and 3 a.m., keeping me from a good night's sleep. Sometimes it was scraping. Other times it was a soft thud against the side of the house.
Boy, hell no.
Still other times footsteps.
Go home.
Or what sounded like footsteps at least, circling from the back of the house to the side. I just waited there, hoping that it was nothing, that it was just my mind playing tricks on me. I listened, I checked, and always nothing. It had to be animals, I told myself. Bears even, although I had seen no claw marks or scat. Possibly deer bumping into things, or branches I couldn't identify in daylight. The woods were full of sounds, and maybe I just didn't understand some of them yet. This had to be normal, right? Just had to be adjusting. But
Go
then,
home.
the sounds started to change.
Oh shit.
They started moving closer and closer to the windows. There was one night in particular when I heard something directly outside my bedroom with a slow, methodical dragging sounding like fabric against glass. I turned on every light as soon as I could and looked out the window. There was nothing, just my pale face staring back at me in the black forest beyond. I even checked the motion sensor light on the porch, and it hadn't been triggered. The sleeping got worse. I told myself during the day that I was just being ridiculous, letting isolation get the best of me. But it was at nighttime, lying in the dark, that I heard it. Footsteps on gravel, the soft creak on the porch step, or a pause at the front door, waiting. Then one night in early November, I heard it breathing. It wasn't animal breathing, nor the heavy panting of a dog or the snuffling of wildlife outside. No, this was measured, controlled, like a human. It came from just outside my bedroom window, patient, rhythmic, even. I didn't move because I didn't want to believe that my life was somehow in danger. And after what felt like an hour, it stopped. Just as it had appeared, so it ceased to exist. That's when I found it, the next morning. A cigarette butt in the gravel just beneath that window. It was relatively fresh. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it had been there the whole time.
This nigga's stupid, bro. You hear breathing next to your goddamn door. Window at night. You wake up and find a cigarette butt. You talking about it's been there when you wake up? You're a stupid bitch. Nigga, you deserve him to get your ass. You need your ass played with, bro. You do.
Maybe it was there when I moved in, or from a previous tenant. But I knew I had raked that area myself about 3 weeks ago. And that butt wasn't weathered either. It had been there recently. The doors, the windows, the crawlspace entrance. Everything was locked and secure, but small things felt out of place. There was the chair on the porch I didn't remember moving, nor the muddy footprints in the back step, which weren't quite my size. The woodpile looked disturbed, with pieces restacked slightly differently from where I left them. Time to call the sheriff's office. The deputy who came out was polite yet skeptical about what I had shared with him over the phone. He decided to walk the property and check the doors, telling me to get better locks and maybe a security camera. I've got to say, you're pretty isolated out here, he mentioned. It's probably just someone passing through. Hikers or some homeless folks looking for a warm spot. He almost made it sound reasonable to me, as if it were comforting. Fine. That night I wedged a chair under the front door handle, and then I wedged another one under the back door, keeping the lights on because I couldn't sleep. I stayed up what felt like forever. Then at 2:47 a.m., I heard the front door handle turn. It was slow, deliberate even, testing the weight as the chair held its place. The handle released. Then I heard the footsteps move around to the side of the house.
Come on, bro. You gotta box his ass.
They went to the back where the handle turned there, too. Slow and just as careful. The chair scraped against the floor, but it held its place. I grabbed my keys and phone and stood in the center of the living room, shaking, knowing I was at the mercy of whatever was out there. The footsteps then moved around to the bedroom window, and I stopped. Everything went silent, and I waited. 5 minutes, then 10. I heard it then, a soft scraping sound that was different than before. It was metal on metal. It was deliberate. It was methodical. It was the crawlspace door. I had checked it before and locked it, but the sound of slow, patient work continued. Someone was trying to get underneath the house. I didn't wait to see if they would succeed. I instantly ran to the front door, shoving the chair aside and getting to my car. The motion light flicked on as I exited the cabin, illuminating nothing but empty yard and trees. I drove with my headlights off until I reached the main road. Then I called 911. The sheriff came out with 3 deputies, searching everything. The house, the crawlspace, the surrounding woods, and found that the crawlspace lock had been jimmied but not broken. They also found more cigarette butts and footprints that weren't mine. They didn't find anyone, however. I stayed in town that night and then the next, and on the 3rd day, I decided to go back with the deputy.
I'm not gonna say nothing, bro. Let's go.
To collect my things. While I was packing, I noticed something I had missed before. It was a small gap in the back wall of the bedroom closet, barely visible behind my hanging clothes. It looked deliberate, as if someone had pried the boards apart just enough to create a space a person could fit in if they were patient enough, if they didn't mind waiting. The instant I saw that was the moment I left everything behind except for essentials I already recovered. The instant I saw that was 3 months ago. I now live in town where there are neighbors, traffic,
Thank you, bro.
and light
You went
pollution.
back home.
I get better sleep here for the most part. However, sometimes, when it's quiet, late at night, I wonder how long that cabin had been someone else's before I moved in. How many nights I slept while someone stood in my closet, just waiting, breathing in the dark. I wonder if they're still there, waiting in the cabin for someone else.
Has Kyrie
Like I just said, going somewhere dolo is not safe. This dumbass nigga went back. At night.
texted you back?
I don't want
This
to talk
stupid
about
ass
it.
hat off my screen, bro. This nigga just blew my
How's the
whole
math test?
shit. I promise y'all
Don't
he
wanna-
did, Chad.
Around the time I turned 13, my parents gradually began
We got ready at like 10, 13 minutes. Alright, we're gonna do this last one, and then we done.
trusting me with independence. One of the first freedoms I was granted was being home alone. They always picked me up and dropped me off from school, and if neither of them were home, they hired a babysitter, so I was never alone before. One night, my parents went on a date without leaving me with a babysitter for the first time ever. I was excited.
This nigga dad looked like that one rainbow dude. That one gay dude from Big Mouth. Let me show y'all. Put that shit up too quick. Exactly. See? Boom. 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 Alright, she going.
My parents went on a date without leaving me with a babysitter for the first time ever. I was excited as I felt it was long overdue. My friends talked about being home alone all the time, which made me realize I kind of had helicopter parents. Honestly, the first
What does that
hour
mean?
was disappointing. Everything was the exact same, only there was nobody in it but me. Despite the lack of authority figures around, I still didn't feel like I could break any rules without getting in trouble. I thought about doing so earlier, but at the moment of truth, I was too scared. Looking back, I think I was self-enforcing on my parents' expectations. Like I literally couldn't comprehend the ramifications of being alone, but I didn't understand any of that at the time. All I felt was this eerie unease. I was at home, yet somehow in unfamiliar territory. Then,
That's real though.
I started to doubt.
Anyone who's ever been home, left the home for the first time, like for like a day or something, you don't at night. He's like, to this day, whenever I'm back at home, I'm on leave for like a week or something. Nigga, I sleep with every light on in the house. I don't play that shit. Keep the weapon underneath the bed, every light on, nigga. That light bill the electric bill gonna be higher than the bitch, but shit, I feel safe though. I feel safe.
Doubt if I was even alone. As I was standing aimlessly in the living room, I saw a blip of movement at the front door, the same crossing of a shadow that comes right before someone enters or knocks, except it was followed by silence. On reflex, I went to my tiptoes, like I had nearly been caught sneaking around past bedtime. I crept up to the door and looked out the side window. I saw the front porch empty, just like the rest of the house, save for the cluster of moths bouncing around the porch light. To get comfortable, I went upstairs to my room. I wanted to close my door, but even though I knew I could, I didn't. I usually wasn't allowed to, and I still wasn't ready to go breaking the rules. Of course, I didn't think it would make a difference since I was home alone. Feeling nervous and needing to do something with my hands, I sat at my desk and opened my journal. I turned to a blank page, wrote the date at the top, then tried to collect my thoughts about being home alone for the first time. I was too anxious to write for what must have been several minutes. But any concentration I might have had was quickly shattered. Downstairs, I heard the crack of a door opening.
Oh, hell no.
I wasn't sure which door it was.
See, he 13. You need to get out your goddamn window and leave, my nigga. You're 13. You need to go immediately. As soon as possible, get your ass up out of there. Come on, Turner.
The tiny change in air pressure I felt meant it let outside. I rushed to my window to see if my parents had come home early, but the driveway was empty. Still, I waited for them to call me downstairs, to ask me how my time went. I stood in front of my door, still impatient, listening for their voices. Instead, after another minute or two, I heard my mother's bathtub faucet spring open. It was very distant, but that distinct sloshing roar was unmistakable. Mother loved her baths, but she certainly wasn't home. So then who the hell was in her tub? In a moment of panic, I suddenly felt like I would be trapped in my room, so I quietly made my way down the stairs. The sound of the faucet dissipated as I descended, until it was gone as I hit the ground floor.
If your resume looks like this, you're not getting hired.
Bro.
This layout, no structure, no order.
I don't
it's
want a
just
job.
too
I'm
chaotic.
unemployed.
I can't even
No!
Part of me decided that I needed to be ready to leave the house in case something happened, so I made my way back to the front door. On my way there, I passed by my parents' room. The master bathroom with my mother's fancy tub was in there. Yet unlike I thought, the faucet hadn't been closed. It was just dripping. I was close enough to hear it, obedient enough to know I'd get in trouble if I didn't close it, but fully aware that the punishment for leaving the house would be worse. The decision was paralyzing. Either the known danger of night, or the unknown specter lurking in the darkness of that unlit bathroom. The thought of going in terrified me, but I was too scared to run. Finally, I simply turned around and went back up to my room. I didn't care if I got blamed for letting the faucet drip, or even if my parents caught me with my door closed.
Exactly. Yep.
I had to save myself the only way I could think.
There we go. See, this nigga got more survival skills than a grown-ass man who just stayed in the goddamn cabin. Like, what? That last nigga was stupid, bro. I'm sorry.
First time, I closed and locked my door, then sat up against it. I buried myself in my confusion and fear.
Bro!
I hid, waiting for it to be over. 2 bitterly slow hours later, I heard my parents driving in. I stood up, wiped the dried tears off my face, opened my door, and put on the act. I went downstairs to meet them, planning to act innocent if they asked about the bathtub. But when they asked me a completely different question, I nearly broke down. My mother asked me if her older brother had ever come by to check on me. They asked him to make sure I was okay since it was my first time home alone, though they weren't sure if he would make it. Suddenly, everything clicked. Who else had access to the house? And who else knew I was alone in it but him, my own uncle? It must have been him. At the time, I stammered but managed to lie and said that nobody had come.
That's not your uncle, nigga.
I didn't fully understand what had gone down, but I was worried I'd never see an ounce of freedom again if I started making accusations. Or if I even admitted that someone else had been in the house.
That's not your fault.
Years later, I still don't know 100% if it was truly my uncle, but I've never trusted him since. I believe he had a sinister idea on his way to check on me. He tried to lure me into a dark space where I wouldn't be able to see him, so he could get away with something he probably always wanted to do.
Alright. That's not funny. Why am I laughing at that? Why did I laugh at that? I'm so sorry, Chad. Don't unsubscribe. I have bad humor. That was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of enjoyed it, Chad. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it too. Now, if you look, we're still not at 100 followers on Twitch or 10 subscribers either. That subscriber count went up. I'm sorry for whoever subscribes to me. I didn't see it. But I'll be live on TikTok, as you see at the bottom of the screen. Follow the Instagram. Follow the Instagram. That's Omari Keyshawn with 2 underscores, not 1, 2. You're gonna see an account 1. That's not me. 2. Follow me on Twitter. I don't use Twitter yet, but most importantly, like and subscribe for more videos. I appreciate y'all for making it this far, and I will see y'all in a couple of days.